Hello, welcome to Revelator Alf. Yes, the live show, the live podcast, video podcast, radio show, and I'm live from the Igloo. That is the UK right now. It is a positive, balmy -1 degrees right now. It's meant to drop a little bit more. I'm in the studio and I've just put the heating on around my legs, and I've just got this up to a temperature here of 2.7. When I first got in here, it was like -2. It's been -2 all day. It's been absolutely freezing. So tonight's show, it's all about, well, it's all about this mob again. Now, there's I've been trawling the news feeds for the last couple of days again since my last show, and I really wanted to discuss a few things about, not about the company so much, but what I want for Christmas, what I really want to come out, and what you guys want for Christmas as well, in terms of what do you really want to see. Yeah, we all want things for Christmas, of course. We all want presents, but what presents we want to give and share and all that kind of stuff. But actually, it's what we want to see. Now, I've got a couple of interesting stories here I wanted to quickly share with you, and then we get on to the main topic. But this is in the news right now. Okay, so just coming out from an interesting story here from a UK-based publication, Visor Down, which is basically talking about this company called MBP, which are called they're something I forgot what they're called, Moto Bologna Passione or something, and they're basically Italian make, but I think there's a lot of Chinese influence in here as well. But I first came across them, as I said, I openly admit that I didn't really know these guys at the Motorcycle Live show, but I remarked that one of their, some of their cruiser bikes looked pretty decent. Anyway, so this bike here, they're basically saying it's called the C1002V. It's a V twin, and it's a 997 V twin with the cylinders positioned at 80 degrees. Design which has always produced an impressive amount of power. The new machine produces a maximum power 94 horsepower with 7,600 RPM with a maximum continuous torque of 102 Newton meters. The interesting thing here is that what they're saying is watch out Harley Davidson for 2023 in that kind of Sportster S Nightster marketplace which they're emerging. These other manufacturers, and a lot of the Chinese manufacturers, Japanese as well, but a lot of these kind of Italian brands, a lot of these design houses from Europe with Chinese backing, they're producing these kinds of bikes, and the price point is a lot less as well. Now, you saw my if you saw my live show a few weeks ago when I was talking about the Honda Rebel 1100, and how that is going to have a real impact on Harley Davidson sales from that nice Sportster S kind of marketplace. Harley Davidson really need to watch out here, and here is just another a producer here, another manufacturer that has got all the looks. It's got that it's a little bit meaty. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Triumph Rocket a little bit, and there's also a little bit of Ducati Diavel in there as well. So it's going to appeal to a lot of people, and a lot of people who, let's say, who don't necessarily want a Harley Davidson, who want something different, but definitely want the V-twin experience. So I think that this is something to watch out for next year, 2023, the popularity of these kinds of bikes. So I thought that was an interesting one to come to you as well. This is a really nice story here, and I want to share this with you. This is from a publication called Slash Gear, and basically what they're saying about the 1920s Harley Davidson that was never sold to the public, and it's a really interesting story. It's basically the Model 17 8-valve racer available for purchase starting 1916. And basically the story goes that at the time, the Federation of American Motorcyclists, they required that all racing bikes were also had to be available to the public, and some of these rules are still in place today. So some of the, some specific races, let's say, they have to have production bikes there. You have to be able to buy them as well, and that's kind of where super bikes really sort of came from as well. That there had to be like a road equivalent, as it were. But anyway, listen. So this story here is that the Harley Davidson was only for the track, only meant for the track. And basically what they said was, right, how Harley Davidson got around this, and I think they only built 50, okay, 50 of these things. Yeah, 50 were ever built, and there's hardly any in existence. There's only a handful in existence, about 8 or 9, 7 or 8, I think, are in existence. But what they did, they put a price tag on it, which was $1,500 at the time in 1916, which was about 4 times, I think, roughly 4 times the price of comparable bikes. It was the same amount of money. You could have rented 2 New York City apartments for over a year. The price and a limited run kept the 8-valve racer racing instead of providing the public with daily rides. There was also another aspect here, because actually they thought it was just so good, so it went on to do great things on the track as well, but it was easy getting over 100 miles an hour, and it went on to Indy success and all this kind of stuff. But they were basically saying that actually they couldn't allow this bike on the road because it was just too fast. It was just too fast, and it was just too dangerous for riders who could not handle it, as it were. Even those that thought that they could handle it, the ones that they couldn't. So I thought this was a really interesting story. This is the racer that never was, or sorry, the racer that was never sold to the public, but actually it should have been sold to the public. It's just they did a little sneaky turnaround here. On this racing theme as well, more stories coming out here, and this is kind of where I was talking about in previous live shows, how Harley Davidson, I've got a sneaking feeling they're going to come out with a little bit of a sporty number, a sporty model in the next year or so. And it's only a gut feeling. I've got no basis on this, but there's a lot more of these stories coming out about past racing endeavors from Harley Davidson. And here they're talking about the VR 1000, which they basically tested in 1994. And again, I think they made 50 models that sold, and they go into how it could have gone onto the track. It had some limited success. In fact, hardly any success at all. It got a 3rd place finish somewhere, but look, they were really trying to get into the racing market at this time in the early 90s. And the company did the old switcheroo, and they wanted to go in a completely different direction. But many still believe that the lightweight Harley Davidsons, if they'd stuck with them, they might have got someone with it. The problem is, and I remember there was a couple of movies made at the time where they were trying to say, hey, look, these Harley Davidsons are going to win the MotoGP and all that sort of stuff, right? The problem is, when they actually eventually got to the track, they were already behind the times. They were, the competition had already leapt forward and left them behind. So I think it was nicknamed the anti-Harley because it was completely alien to what Harley Davidson fans had ever been accustomed to. This was lightweight, this was high revving, high power, high revving, and so it was the anti-Harley in many ways. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's got the one on the right. I mean, that looks nice actually. I really do like that one. And I think from the left it looks better than the right angle that it got there. But as I say, I think, I've got a sneaking feeling that Harley Davidson are not going to do this. I don't think they're going to do this, but I think what they're going to do, they are going to come out with some kind of cafe racer inspired, Revolution Max engine, maybe some kind of wouldn't it be great to have something like this? Wouldn't it be great to say, look, we've got a bike here. Yes, it's not a sports bike, but we're never going to be able to compete with the sports bikes forever. If we have like sort of some kind of cafe sport inspired bike, a proper sport inspired bike with a bit of a nose fairing, that kind of thing, I think that'd be good. I mean, look, I think if you polled up to any biker cafe or pub on one of these Harley Davidson sports bikes, like a VR 1000 here, I think you're going to be turning heads. Definitely, I think you're going to be definitely turning heads, and you're going to be the talk of the town. So I think there'll be a lot of movement there. Again, wishful thinking. This is what I want for Christmas, right? This is what I want to see, and I think I'm bringing you stories that I think that have been growing in number over the last few weeks. And I'm just wondering why are these stories re-emerging? Now, it could be that lots of people are talking about the same stuff again. Lots of people are wondering, hey, look, will Harley Davidson come out with a sporty model? Who knows? I mean, who knows? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know. Here's a question, right? Do you want to ride a sporty Harley Davidson? And I'm not talking about a Sportster, right? I'm not talking about, a bike that looks dated, as in the old Sportsters, or the new Sportster S that just look a bit cumbersome, and not having forward mounted control. So I'm talking about taking a Revolution Max engine, putting it in a brand new chassis with mid-mounted controls or racing foot pegs, rear sets on it, and actually making it a proper street sports bike, a usable street sports bike with a V-twin. Lots of manufacturers have made V-twin sports bikes, so Harley Davidson can definitely enter that mode. Would you like to see it? Would you like to have a go at it and see it, riding around? I think it would be amazing. I think it'd be amazing to have something like this, for people to have a go at. So I think, let me just show you that picture again. I mean, for me, it's got a lot of, there's a lot of comparisons here with these early Harley Davidsons with Ducati, Honda, Kawasaki at the time. It is of the era, but basically it said 135 horsepower at 10,000 RPM, not to mention a curb weight of just 388 pounds. The VR 1000 was a distant departure from Harley's traditional big muscle, big iron approach. By the numbers, it was ready for serious AMA racing, but unfortunately, this is where it goes on to say, well, by the time I actually got there, it did a third place, but it was already way behind the times. And so only 15 models were ever made. And it just basically goes on like that. But it's a really, really interesting, moments, I think, in Harley Davidson's history. And I think they're crying out for something like this. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe that they can compete. They can't suddenly come out with a motorcycle, a sports bike, and make it compete at the highest level with the other 1 liter sports bike, like the Suzuki's, Kawasaki's, Hondas, whatever. But I think they can enter the V-twin sports bike mode with this Revolution Max engine, a tuned engine, or maybe just not even that, have some kind of cafes race sport inspired bike. It's got the geometry for a proper sports bike, and not a heavy sporty cruiser type thing, or something that you look a bit ungainly. And I think something where you're actually in the bike, you're actually molded in the bike, you're forward, you're in a prone position, handlebars are down, some clip-ons, that kind of thing. Yeah, look, why not? Why not have something like that? Okay, the next thing is, well, I suppose it's all about this lot. Okay, it's about this. Basically, there's a story here from a financial press, and they're basically talking about the future Harley Davidson and how it really depends how LiveWire are going to do, and how what they think. It's going to be tough times for the company, not only Harley Davidson, but also LiveWire, in terms of the economic climate. And it just goes on and on and on. This article, quite a decent article, pulling on lots of different financial factors, how the company have, got LiveWire into a new. They've launched them on the New York Stock Exchange and all that kind of stuff. But the summary here: Harley Davidson's hardwire plan appears to be on track, and their long-term strategic objectives could see it benefiting from electrification through LiveWire while maintaining their iconic namesake Harley Davidson brand. LiveWire expands their target market, and although margins may be lower compared to Harley Davidson, LiveWire could overall help the company reverse the trend of flat sales and profit growth seen over the past several years. And then they go on to basically say that, look, Harley Davidson, it's an uphill struggle here. The problem with LiveWire is that you've got all these other, and I've said this in previous shows as well, right? Remember, and videos and live shows, but you got a company like LiveWire and Harley Davidson who are producing the expensive electric bikes, because a lot of these bikes are expensive, right? And we know that, and they suffer from range and all that kind of stuff. But the issue is that the other manufacturers now, and the big Japanese manufacturers are coming online now, and they're going to be producing a lot cheaper electric bikes. And you can already get short range, very cheap electric bikes, about £5,000, dollars, shekels, whatever. So you can buy that. So where does this leave Harley Davidson? Where does this leave LiveWire in those terms? If they suddenly can come out with a brand new electric bike, which I sort of intimated in the last live stream from India, where they're expecting another LiveWire offering, another electric bike. If that can come in at a much cheaper price point, then maybe we can talk about Harley Davidson in terms of competing for the future electric market. But if that isn't the case, then I think they're going to be struggling here to make LiveWire, the company, a going concern. And let's not forget that as soon as it was launched, the investors in LiveWire suddenly started pulling their money out. So LiveWire almost collapsed as a company, and it had to be backfilled or financially supported by Harley Davidson. So that in itself was going to be a burden on Harley Davidson as well. So LiveWire is not the success that many people hoped it would be, and maybe the future success of it really depends on how competitive they can be in the market and not come out with products that are just overpriced. Because yes, the electric bike is overpriced, of course it is, but you're on that cutting edge you're on the cusp of cutting edge technology. But as soon as that technology has become the mainstay, as it were, then price points have got to come down, and we're already seeing it with other manufacturers as well. I've brought in my hot cup of cocoa with me tonight, because I say it's absolutely freezing tonight, and I've actually bought some some brownies here as well. Food of the gods, just to keep them warm. They do say, I think somebody says that when you're operating in the cold, you burn 3 or 4 times more the calories. So I think I needed to counteract that with some hot cup of cocoa. Well, it's coffee actually, but I call it cocoa, and it goes with the brownie theme there. But look, so if I always take a little pause from my talking, it's because I'm taking like a little sip here and trying to get that going. So this is an interesting one. I thought I'd bring this last little story about Harley Davidson related topics. There are a few other stories there, and of course, look, I'm not really going to deep dive into what I think the new motorcycles are going to be. I know I could. I mean, but a lot of it I've already covered already. A lot of it I think it's speculation at best. I'm willing to speculate. I'm willing to have a discussion. I'm willing to tell you what I think. And I suppose this is what this live show is all about, just having a bit of fun and tell you what I think and what I hope that will come out. And I say I hope they come out with some kind of sporty number. I really do. Not necessarily that I would want a sporty bike, from Harley Davidson, but there's still a great feeling out there that the Buell era should have carried on, and that Harley Davidson have an opportunity now with the Revolution Max engine to, start exploring, start expanding into different areas. Hey, look, I would love them to come out with a brand new engine as well. I would love it. I think it'd be great. Just imagine they said, right, okay, we've got the Revolution Max engine. It's quite a versatile engine, but I tell you what, we've developed, and there were patents for another engine that came out last year as well, or patents filed, I believe, for another engine from Harley Davidson as well. So there is another one there. You got the electric bike market that they're obviously with LiveWire that they're expanding. You got that technology from the LiveWire motorcycles and company that is being shifted over into Harley Davidson mainstream models. And I've already talked about in the last show that we are kind of expecting electronic software upgrades in the bikes in certainly this year and into next year as well. The CEO Joshin Sites, he said this actually a few months ago. He said actually in an interview with the financial press, the video like news, sort of financial news, he actually said, yeah, actually LiveWire technology, we are moving it into the current models. So it's not, I'm making this up. This is comes from his very own lips. So, and it will kind of makes logical sense. So they've got this engine, but why not come out with another engine? Say, if you're going to come out with another air-cooled engine, you're going backwards. Keep the M8 engine, no doubt. Do not get rid of it. Expand on the size of it if you want to do that. Come up with different tunes for it. Okay, great. No problem. And I love that. And I think lots of people will be excited about that. But I think the Revolution Max engine, that's where it's at. And also there's another engine that needs to come out from Harley Davidson. So look, hey, let's go for a sportier number. Let's go for a street racer. Let's go for a roadster. Let's go for a cafe racer. Let's just go for something that inspires the imagination. Let's get something that really attracts people to Harley Davidson, just like Harley Davidson did with the Pan America, where it opened the eyes of people out there in the greater world when they're saying, oh, Harley Davidson can't do this, they can't do that, they can't make an adventure bike, all that kind of stuff. Then also they shut a lot of people up, and as I said, I've ridden the bike. It's teething. I say these teething problems it's had. It's had electrical issues. It's had engine issues. But as I say, always first 2 years of any model, you're always going to get engine problems or kind of technical issues. As long as they're resolved, there's no issues, right? But they shocked the world. They shocked the world in what they did, what they produced there. They impressed a lot of people. They certainly impressed me. When I rode the Pan America, I don't care for the styling of it, and I still don't care for it. But it's grown on me. I've got to say, it's grown on me in terms of styling. But in terms of the bike, I said, look, it's a very capable bike in that big adventure bike, touring bike, limited off-road capability. I think it's great. It's great. And I said I had high praise for it, for what it is. And I still stand by that. I think they failed with the Revolution Max engine in the Sportster S and also in the Nightster, but I think they've got a glorious success in the Pan America and how it has been, not only how it performs or how it rides, all the numbers that have been sold, which, in the grand scheme of things, it's limited. It's a few thousand over the globe, but it's not selling millions, of course. But it's the reputation that it sends out there, or the word that it sends out there, that people, even with the ADV market, they've ridden it and they're going, yeah, it's half decent. People are always going to have their preferences, and yes, if you're anything like me, you're going to look at that from an ADV point of view, and you're going to say, do you know what? It's weak there. They need to address that. They need to change that. And it's funny, isn't it? That all of a sudden I see a bike, and within a few months they start noticing that these are the weak areas, and say, well, it's a weak area for a reason, because you've got people in the know, not necessarily me, but you've got people in the know who can easily identify this. But this is the growth of a company like Harley Davidson. They can enter a market with a particular bike. They surprise the hell out of a lot of people. But do you know what? They produce a bike that wasn't too bad. So let's just move this on now. Let's move this on to say, right, okay, well, the Sportster S and the Nightster, haven't been amazing success stories like the Pan America. I think it's been an amazing success story. But what else could they do now? Well, there's no point in bringing out another M8 engine or another M8 bike, I should say. You could come out, but I think what they need to do is just, yes, of course, this year's a funny year because they're bringing out the 120th anniversary bikes as well. So you're going to have all those bikes. So I'm kind of interested in those, but I'm not overly excited by those. And you would imagine, look, the anniversary bikes, you're going to have new colors. You maybe have some new accessories, new specs. You might have new tank designs, new badges, that kind of thing. New derby covers, whatever. You're going to have something like that. But it's not going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be aesthetic changes rather than fundamental engineering, electrical changes. They might include a few extra accessories. They might change the wheels. The wheels might change, that kind of thing. But I don't think they're going to come out with brand new bikes. Or if they did, it's only going to be another Softail, or it's only going to be another Tourer type. But the point is, you got to ask yourself, why would you bring out another air oil-cooled motorcycle engine? Why would you do that? And when you've got that Revolution Max engine there, that's the one of the near future. That's the one to go. So look, we could wax lyrical about how great the air-cooled engines are, but look, it's great, but it's not the bike of tomorrow, is it? It's not the bike of tomorrow. And we know that, and whether we want to resist that or not, that's just the nature of it. Right, I got another story here as well. This is the final story, and this is where, again, another story here. This is from Visor down here in the UK. And basically, Harley Davidson have collaborated with Held Riding Gear. Held Riding Gear are a German brand, and they make all sorts of motorcycle kit. But basically, this is not the first time that Harley Davidson have teamed up with another bike manufacturer. But basically, they've got these adventure touring gloves. They look pretty decent, actually. They're quite nice. I quite like that sort of style. £95, yeah, for we'll see. They've got this women's riding jacket. This is quite nice. Look, the model is quite nice, of course, as well. But that's quite nice, if you like that kind of thing. But look, £418. Yeah, decent price. Oh dear. Jester Armalith denim and men's jacket. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one, guys. Yeah, you really are making a statement if you're walking around with that. I mean, maybe if you're walking around, the night streets of Athens or Cyprus or Spain or somewhere where this kind of look might be more tolerated. I'm not so sure about that myself, but there we go. This is nice. This short here, the Bailey men's jacket, £232. Yeah. So, decent. I mean, they've, Harley Davidson, I think that they make some decent products. I think because that, especially in recent years, they toned down the Harley Davidson wing eagle type stuff, and they've gone more modern in their designs. I think it's good, but they've also been teaming up with quite a few other collaborations, other designers of late. I talked about them teaming up with a Japanese neighborhood brand a few weeks ago, and so Held here as well, the German brand. So yeah, I mean, whether this will be distributed all in dealerships all over, but certainly in UK and Europe, we're going to get this kind of thing. So if you're into that kind of look, yeah, I think it's got a price tag to it. It's whether you deem that has any value. But look, go for it. I mean, but anyway, listen, what do I want for Christmas, and what do you want for Christmas? Well, let's talk about this. So this Christmas, let's talk about Christmas time. I'm going to start talking and singing like Michael Bublé now as I drink my eggnog and start feasting down on some turkey. Yeah, we're going to talk about what do we want for Christmas? What do I want from Harley Davidson? What do I want? What I want from the motorcycle industry in general? What do you guys want from it? Quick slip. I've used this today as well to hopefully keep the coffee a little bit warmer for longer. I keep on bringing them just normal mug of coffee, and it goes really cold, so really too quickly. So this, I think, is working a lot better. But look, what do you guys want from the motorcycle world this Christmas or going into 2023? You know, do you want something that's different? Do you want something that leans towards a new way of doing things, and or do you just stuck in tradition? You think, right, that's it. I can't stand any of this new stuff. I just wonder. This is what I wonder. I just wonder whether a company like Harley Davidson or Honda or Kawasaki or Triumph, okay, Triumph, another big brand, right? Whether they're looking at 2023 and they're thinking, do you know what? This is not looking good for us. This is not looking good for us because the way the economy is, the way the world is, the way people are thinking about things, and all that sort of stuff, and they're just thinking, do you know what? If the economy gets even worse, then we could be in serious trouble here. And they're probably all hoping, the fingers crossed, that we have a bumper year. We have the economy sorts it out. The war in Ukraine will end, like that's going to happen anytime soon. That things in the Middle East settle down. The energy shortage prices are going to come down again, all that sort of stuff. What is it that we would really want, but what do you think that manufacturers can deliver? And I'm not sure. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, and I'm not sure that companies can really deliver a lot. Maybe they can't meet our expectations. Maybe we want more, a lot more, but maybe they just can't deliver those expectations. So it's we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what comes on. But I want innovation. That's what I want from this Christmas, from the companies. I want them to bring a smile to my face, to actually go out on a limb, to actually get out there and say, look, this is what we're doing, this is what we're about, and I want people to to look at a manufacturer and just say, they're making a bike for me, they're making a bike this I want to ride. And I just wonder whether there's going to be an increasing trend to move away from big bikes, get into smaller bikes, and I've always said small bikes are great. They're great. You can have such great fun on them, especially if you're doing short journeys. Short journeys on small bikes are fantastic. You have so much fun. It's great. It's the longer journeys, and you just wonder, because as I said in a previous show, Honda have been making some big roads here the last few months, last 2 or 3 months. They're making lots of sales of small bikes. And this is why Honda are Honda, right? Because they just sell loads of their small bikes. And you just wonder, well, are they going to shock and awe us with some amazing bikes? Well, they've got some decent bikes coming out for 2023, the bigger ones, right? But they're doing what they do best. Harley Davidson, yeah, we're waiting. Of course, we're waiting. What are they going to give us, in January? Remember, everybody, January the 18th is the model launch date, January the 18th. What are they going to do with us? I mean, this is what I want to see. I want to see new bikes. I want to see new products. I don't want to see a rehashing of something. I don't want them, I'm interested in when a company like Harley Davidson or Triumph or Suzuki or whoever, they say, these are our models from this year, and for 2023, yeah, or for next year, we're going to change that model a little bit. We're going to tweak it there. We're going to give it, a bit more horsepower. We're going to, different electronics package, all that sort. So I love all that. But that's still the same bike, isn't it? It's still the same. It's not nothing new. But to bring a brand new motorcycle to market, especially now, it's a real risk. So my expectation, my desire is that they come out with 5 or 6 brand new motorcycles, right? But that's wishful thinking. That's never going to happen. So would they come out with just one? Well, The talk of the town, of course, has been the Pan America 975. But for me, that isn't a brand new, well, I suppose it is a brand new motorcycle, but it's just the same motorcycle with a smaller engine, right? So effectively, it's the same. It isn't anything new. If they come out with, engine upgrades or great bigger engines for, the Softail range or the Taurus, right? All the CVOs in terms of Harley Davidson, right? Well, that's just the same. It's still the same bike. It's just a different engine, right? It's no major difference. So they've got to come up with, for me, they've got to come up with a brand new bike. If it's a roadster, if it's a sportier bike, which I just don't think they have a proper sportier bike on their market. I've said that the one bike that I have not been talking about tonight, which I still think is going to be one of the lead bits of news for 2023. Whether they'll announce it at the January reveal, who knows? But it's this thing of the small bikes, the smaller CC bikes from their collaboration, a tie-up with the Chinese QJ Motor and with Hero Motor Corp from India. That's the stories from that part of the world are getting more and more and more. And what the latest news today that I've picked up on, is that the 500cc model from Harley Davidson in conjunction with QJ Motor, that's the one that's going to be coming out first. That's the one. So that's in the news, if you like. So, and it's not me who's saying it. I'm not saying this. I'm just kind of relaying what they're saying in that part of the world, because we believe that in that part of the world, that's where the motorcycle is going to be headed towards. Now, the problem with the 500cc that they've got with the QJ motor, apparently it's very similar, not only in looks, but also in the components used. That is the Benelli Leoncino, which is just a small bike. It looks pretty cute. It looks nice. But it's a Benelli Leoncino. But if it looks very similar to that, and they're just adding a little bit of a refinement here, they've changed a few things here, maybe changed a bit of suspension, maybe a few design cues, put a Harley Davidson badge on it, and then you want to charge an extra £1,000 or dollars for it, then maybe they'll make a few sales. But if it looks too close to a Benelli, and if it look, or any other generic bike that they've got over there, and they're charging too much money, they're not going to be able to compete. But apparently the 500cc Harley Davidson QJ motor Zhangji, or whatever, however they want to pronounce themselves, that's the one. That's the one for that. India. A lot of publications from India are saying is the first one. They're also saying that the tie-up with the Indian motorcycle manufacturer Hero, they will start producing the 2023 into 2024 motorcycles, and their first one is going to be a smaller version, like a 350cc. Now, whether these bikes and whether these engines are effectively the same, whether Hero, the Indian manufacturer, with Harley Davidson, they've got it's almost like a triangle, and I've got a strong feeling here. There is a triangle operation, as it were, or a menage a trois, as it were. You got Harley Davidson as the pimp daddy, as it were, but then you've got Chinese, and you've also got India, Hero and QJ, and they are working all together. And they're basically saying, right, the 500cc, it's going to go to China, but it's also going to go to India. And that it's the same bike, though. It might be under different colors, it might be under a different name, but it's the same bike. When Hero start producing their bike, that is also going to be the same bike. Let's say that the Harley Davidson QJ Moto, the second bike that they'll produce, like a 350 or something. Then maybe Indian Harley Davidson tie up with Hero, they'll produce other bikes. So they're set to produce, 7 or 8 bikes or something. Maybe this is the big news. Maybe this is the big news to come out. Now, whether it'll all come out at the same time, whether it would be in that fashion, but I've just got a strong feeling from what I see out in the press out there, and a lot of these, it's going to be it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one out there. I think I just wonder whether Harley Davidson will announce to the world, will announce to the American public, to the British public, to the European public, whatever, Australian public, whatever it is, Canadians, that there's all of a sudden going to start producing sportier bikes with a Revolution Max engine, and whether they're going to be announcing that they're going to finally produce competitive and good-looking small CC bikes. I just wonder if they've got the stones to do it. I'm not sure. I mean, for Christmas, yeah, look, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Harley Davidson do something really different, because they've already proved to me that they can do something different with the Revolution Max engine, with the Pan America. They've proved that they can do it, and they proved that they can do it really well, and it proved that they can surprise a lot of people. So this is my thinking, right? They prove that they can do it, and they've done it. They've shocked and awed us. And I think now 2023, if they really want to look at securing themselves, because they've got this big ball of this big iron ball that's around their shoulders right now with the LiveWire. Okay, they need to offset that. And they need to make that sure as a going concern, because they need to protect that element for the future. And the way they protect that element for the future is not sitting on their laurels with Harley Davidson traditionists. They need to keep that, not ignore the traditionists, not ignore the lovers of the M8 engine and all those bikes, but they need to make sure that the Revolution Max engine comes on board with more bike models, but also with small CC engines. Now, let's not forget here. Let's not forget, I'm going to wag my finger at you guys here as well. Let's not forget, Harley Davidson said, they claimed right at the start with the Revolution Max engine, they said that it's the platform to give birth to multiple motorcycle models. That is the plan. That was always the plan. The Revolution Max engine is going to be to give birth to multiple size engines and multiple motorcycle models. And we've only seen the 1250 and the 975 so far, but there was talk that it would be a 700 and a 500 cc as well. We don't know if there is another Revolution Max engine, another type of engine. We don't know. There could be another engine in the offing that could be the Revolution Max R or something. I don't know, whatever. A completely different engine or a variant of the engine. But it was always there. It was always supposed to be multiple engines and multiple motorcycle models, and to come out in pretty quick succession. And this is where if they're looking for the future, this is what we've got to look at. We've got to look at about this. Now, personally, as I said in previous live shows, look, hey, Harley Davidson, you want to stick with the Taurus, right? Well, what's your touring lineup? What does it lack? It lacks a liquid-cooled engine. It definitely Indian, yeah, they've got liquid-cooled. BMW got liquid-cooled. We've got Honda got liquid-cooled. In terms of producing sort of tourer bikes, lots of other manufacturers who produce tourer style motorcycles produce ones with liquid cooled engines as well. They might have the air cooled variants as well, but they've got liquid cooled. You've got the platform there, you've got the engine there. Stick it in a tourer. I'm not saying stick in a tourer chassis, but make a tourer out of it. You've got cruisers, in the Softail lineup. Well, stick a Revolution Max engine in a kind of cruiser style. Maybe, and just say, right, in the Softails, guess what? We've got one. The new model is with a Revolution Max engine. In the Tourers, a Grand American Touring, guess what? We've got one with a Revolution Max engine. So this is what I'm saying. Say, look, you can still feed the traditionists. You can still keep everybody on board. And the ones that you've probably lost forever. The one, the Harley Davidson fans they're only going to go stick with twin cams or earlier bikes. They just don't want the new bikes as well. They don't want new technology and all. They don't care where the company is gone or is going and everything. God, I get it. I completely get that. But you probably lost those guys already. They're not going to come back, especially with the prices of new bikes. They're not going to come back. So you've got to do something to look at bringing on a new crowd, attracting a new crowd. And that's where these bikes, these ideas come from. This is where I'm looking at and saying, well, look, what do I really want to see in a new manufacturer? And I want to see ingenuity. I want to see some risk taking. But you look at risk taking, you think, but actually, is there really any real risk? When you look at all the motorcycles that have been made, and you say, hold on a minute, what we're going to do, we're just going to take that particular bike and we're just going to switch it up a little bit. We're just going to change it here and fundamentally make a new bike. And guess who've done a really good job of that? Triumph have done a really good job of that. Harley Davidson have done a good job of that with Taurus and Softails as well. Fundamentally, in the Taurus, it's the same chassis, same engine. With the Softails, same chassis, same engine. So they could do exactly the same with the Revolution Max engine bikes. Yeah, same chassis, same engine, but it looks completely different. So they could easily done it. You could easily done. And I wonder whether we're on the verge of Harley Davidson just suddenly, finally spreading out their wings, their eagle wings, as it were, and say, look, we are not going to be the company of the last 120 years. We're still going to be that company, but we're going to be a lot more. And I think this is where I think that'd be a great Christmas present. Not because I'm a Harley Davidson rider, and not because I got an interest in Harley Davidson, and not even because I might be a bit of a fan of theirs at all. But I'm not really just a fan of theirs. I'm a fan of all motorcycle manufacturers, or all motorcycles, I should say. But I just see it as a great opportunity for everybody just to do something different, see something different, for them to surprise us. And I think if they surprise me in the next few months, and I think, do you know what, you've done good, because if you've surprised me, then that means you've got my attention. You got my attention. Now I'm thinking, hello, what else can you do? So anyway, we'll try and dig into the comments a little bit as well. I just wanted to show you this. This is the other thing I've been doing this week as well. Completely off topic, I know. I've been getting a lot more cameras. So this camera, look at this dinky thing, right? This is, look at that. Oh, hello. Yeah, there you go. Look at this thing. All right, there we go. Security camera. These are reversing cameras, right? Not for the motorcycle. But I've been looking around at all different types of cameras and onboard cameras, for cars and bikes as well. It's amazing. And you'll see the link here in a minute. I'll tell you about the link here in a minute, right? It's amazing. The technology is exactly the same. It's just the housing is different, right? The camera technology is pretty much the same. But you think about it, you think, okay, well, maybe I could do it like that, or put it on a bike, or put it on a car. And this is just a replacement from one of my Breaking Bad camper. The reversing camera has gone. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can take technology that's kind of generic technology, but you can make it applicable, apply it to lots of different other things. You see, you can change it up. And I think this is where the likes of Harley Davidson could definitely do this. They could employ some generic technology. They could change it up, make subtle changes here and there, and then all of a sudden you got a brand new bike. And a bike. You look at the custom bike world, or when people make bobbers, they strip parts of bikes. A lot of the time, fundamentally, they're not changing the bike. They're not changing the electrics. They're not changing the engine, of course. They're not substantially changing the frame, unless they're chopping it to a hardtail frame, of course. But they make a, they bob the tail, they bob the fenders, that kind of stuff. But it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not major engineering, especially those modifications, those custom jobs, those bob jobs that happen at home. So you take every motorcycle out there, every motorcycle, not just Harley Davidson, but all sorts of bikes, right? And you say, right, okay, so Harley Davidson or Honda or Suzuki, an owner says, right, I'm going to take that, I'm going to replace that part, put something else on it, maybe a bit of carbon fiber here, a new map or a new carburetor, new fuel map, whatever it is, right? New mirrors, new handlebars, all that sort of stuff. Fundamentally, underneath, the bike is still the same. You might change the aesthetics, the appearance of a little bit. Fundamentally, that bike is still the same. So this is where I'm saying that Harley Davidson, they could fundamentally they could fundamentally keep the same bikes, but they can make big changes, and most of it is just in styling. And guess what? This is nothing new. They've already done this with the Taurus and with the Softails anyway. They've already done it, so it's not a major consideration. So listen, this is what I want. This is what I want from Harley Davidson. I want something new. I want something that is fun. And I want something that grabs the attention. And I want something that, I want to go to the local dealership and I want to see a different kind of bike. And I'll be like, wow, that's amazing. People flocking there, turning heads, that kind of thing. And build on the success that they had with the Pan America, less so with the Sportster S. I think there's a lot of people wanting the Sportster S and the Nitzer to be a success or to be liked, but I think the grand scheme of things is that it just wasn't. It's they could tell you it's a great bike and it's been selling fantastic, but you go into, I don't know, man. I don't know what the numbers are, but there we go. Dutch, hello there. Hi. Give me durable, reliable, and something that will not be expensive to own. Well, yeah, we all want that, don't we? Something that'll not lose money because after a couple of years it'll be worthless. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah. Sell me a future heirloom. God, we'd all love that. Pan Am Ed, hello. I really don't want a collector. I prefer to have my Pan Am's quirks taken care of. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I think you will. I think you will there. Pan Am Ed, look, some inside information about the Pan America. Yeah, screen going black every so often. Yeah, TFT screens. Yeah, they had some of those issues. But if you shut it off and walk away for a couple of minutes and then come back on, it's okay. And there are issues with the ARH. Yeah, they've had some issues as well. Yeah, fewer electronics are better. I think we've gone long past that, I'm afraid. Yes, I think so. Yeah. I don't mind it. There's amazing, no issues. Yeah, great. I mean, I do like that Pan America, I've got to say. But listen, there we go. Yes, they surprised us with that sports replacement, and it wasn't pleasant. Well, yeah. As I say, look, I'm certainly not saying that they always get it right. They never, manufacturers, to get it right is a very difficult thing, and maybe that's where I say it's wishful thinking for them to come out 5 or 6 different models, but I think they can achieve it if they fundamentally keep the model, the chassis and engine the same. They just change the aesthetics a little bit, or maybe change the chassis ever so slightly. But the thing is, it's about bringing a new motorcycle to market, and is it going to be a risk, too much of a risk? And it's just like anything in this world. You've got to reach for the stars a little bit, and you've got to put yourself out there, and you've got to say, "Hey, look, we're making a bike here. We're coming into a new era. We want to attract new people." And do you know what? It's one of those things where they can produce like 7 or 8 new bikes, and guess what? Each bike sells, let's say, 5,000 models, right? And you think, oh, that's not a very many, but that's still selling 5,000 models. Right? That's still selling 5,000 bikes. And if those bikes are fundamentally the same underneath, they've just got a few bolt-on places of things that make it look a little bit different, then all of a sudden 5 or 6 models, let's say 6 models of 5,000 prop, that's 30,000 models. 30,000 units that you've just sold for fundamentally the same bike, but they're just all different models. Hey, look, that's good business. That's good business. So they could easily do it. And also it opens up the world from Harley Davidson out there to all those people who can't afford it, won't buy the old fart bikes, let's say. They want something different. Why not? Why not do it? The first couple of years, as I say, we've seen the problems with the Revolution Max engine and sort of technical issues, right? A very limited few, electronics only. But look, we're coming into the third year of that now. A lot of these is going to be ironed out, and you can have it opens up the door for them just to release new bikes with a platform that is bug free, let's say, that they've ironed out all the bugs, ironed out all the wrinkles. Look, hey, that's decent, right? That's decent. So if I want anything for Christmas, I want new bikes, and I want them to just be brave. Just come out there and just say, look, hey, this is us. This is Harley Davidson. This is Honda. This is Suzuki. This is Triumph. Right at you, right in your face, they're saying, this is what you think we couldn't do it. Well, I guess what? We've just done it. And if they can do that, if they can surprise us, if they can give us products, options, lots of different options, and especially, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, especially for a company like Harley Davidson, when they only offer a one sort of style of bike, not a style, but a way of riding, as it were. It's either cruiser or it might be a sportier cruiser, but it's still a cruiser or a tourer. If you only have that, then they're going to be left behind. So they need to offer something else, and they need to offer something else in terms of design, but also in price. They need to offer something else because they will be left behind. There we go, Robbie. Here we go. Robbie, I really want more Rev Max bikes. I do as well, especially with the 1250 variety. I'm concerned about their reliability, though. I think they're going to be much better going forward. I think they really are. I really do. I think they, I think they will. They will definitely get more bikes. Revolution Max engine. I think we're going to see lots of innovation, lots of tweaks to the Taurus and the Softails. I just think it's there. It's there for the taking. 2023. It's Harley Davidson's year to make the big announcement. And I've talked about this in previous live streams as well. But this model launch, I just hope. And it's not because I don't want egg on my face and I don't want to be embarrassed because I've got it all wrong or I've been saying this. But I just hope that I am right. I really hope that they will do something really good, because I'll be so disappointed. I think I'll really be so disappointed if Harley Davidson just come out with the same old anniversary, let's talk about our history, let's talk about our lifestyle, let's talk about this, or Harley Davidson this and Harley Davidson that. And they just don't bring anything new to the party. I'll be so disappointed, because you want to be excited about these things. And look, it's exactly the same. If Honda do a new reveal, if Triumph do a new reveal, I'll be like, it just leaves you flat. It leaves you, and I've been critical of Harley Davidson in that when every other motorcycle model, the last couple of months, motorcycle manufacturer, the last couple of months, they've been bringing out their new models, new things. And I've been saying, where are Harley Davidson? Where are Harley Davidson? They should be in this discussion. They should be in amongst it right now, right? Because there was a big fever pitch, of all bottles, every day. And this is, I started doing the live streams because there are a lot new models coming out here, coming out there, right? Where are Harley Davidson? But now that the dust has settled and that all those manufacturers have gone quiet again, now you kind of look at it and you think, well, yeah, now maybe it was right that Harley Davidson kept quiet, but now because we can ramp up and start thinking about what they're going to do. So if we're really going to be thinking about Harley Davidson for January 18th, I should say, with their live launch, you just hope that it is something special. It is something spectacular. I want it to be spectacular. I want it to be interesting, and I'm hoping that you'll feel that as well. I want to be able to, look at what they've got to offer and say, wow, that's really interesting. That's really cool. And hopefully, look, Dutch, where's the improved Taurus? Well, look, there were talk that, there's ST variants on the Road King. There's also talk about engine upgrades, a 117 for all the Taurus as an option. There's also talk about suspension upgrades, not necessarily the same as the ST, but suspension upgrades right across the board on the Taurus, and also different electronics package, software package as well. Now, whether this actually happens or not, totally different discussion, right? And as I say, if it comes to the January 18th and if they don't do that, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be happily surprised. I'd be, ecstatic if they did do that, but I would not be surprised if that didn't happen, right? But if they don't come out with new bikes from the Revolution Max engine or do something different outside, outside of the 975 Pan America, I think they need to do more. And if they do, great. If they don't, I'll be the first to admit, I'd say, look, all the things that I said, all the things that I heard, all the things that I was told, obviously it isn't the case. But watch your space, because although it might not happen on January the 18th, it may happen later in the year. So watch. You've got to take it, 2023 as a whole year. I'm just wondering if they will make these announcements about the China and the India connection. I'm just wondering whether that would work well with the investors, with the shareholders and everything like that. It must do, because they're all privy to this as well. So it's not as if it's, no news. Who knows? My guess is they'll come out with the Road King with the FXRT fairing. There could be big changes there. And my gut feeling, and what I've been told, and I was told this months and months ago, is that the Taurus is going to have a big shake-up. In terms of the effectively just 3 models. You're just going to have the 3 models, but within the models, the Road King, Road Glide, and Street Glide, you're just going to have so many different options. And this is where a lot of when we talked about electric glide standard in the United States and the Road King Classic or standard being not sold anymore, it could be that they're not sold and the 107 engine is being withdrawn. But it's only because that's being absorbed into the options available on the Road King Special, let's say, or the Street Glide, or the Road Glide, as it were. So all the other variants, let's say like the Ultras and all that sort of stuff, all that is just going to be options. That's all it is. You just have options. So if you stream it down, you bring it all the way back down again, and then you just have different options, then basically you've got more room to make for all your brand new bikes that you can bring out as well. Who knows? Anyway, guys, listen, it's been emotional. So I've got a chicken in the oven, as it were, and I need to get to that. Feed the tribe, and well, look, I was really good. I didn't have any of my brownies either. Another slurp of coffee here. But it's time. But what do you want for Christmas? Let us know in the comments below. What do you want? And I'm not talking about what you personally want or what you personally like to happen. I know there's a lot of things that we'd all like to happen, if you know what I mean. But hey, what is it you want to see? But anyway, listen, there'll be another live show coming soon, I'm sure. I'm going to keep on digging into the news, keep on digging into the latest stories and seeing what's out there, not just with Harley Davidson, but with all motorcycle life, motorcycle lifestyle as well. There's going to be a lot more varied content in these live shows as well. So we'll be having discussion topics, not only in whether it's news related, information related, but just general topics of conversation as well. But listen, it's great. It's been great speaking to you. Great having you on board. But all I can say is, well, it's time to go. Ta-da now.
LiveWire.